And welcome back to another episode of Xtreme. My name is Zach.
My name is Joey.
My name is Adam.
And this is a podcast where we dig deep on your favorite video games.
Except for
not this month.
I was about to say that.
Cut you off.
Fuck.
Look, you're going to have so much to say during this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what, gang?
We're starting the year off.
Incorrect.
Lee.
Yes, we're still doing our third annual starting the year off wrong. We talked about, I already forgot, Six Flags Fun Park last week.
Yep, that was.
I tried to just mentally block that out.
That was a great one. Why would you do that?
But now, since we have one of the developers of this new shitty game on the line, we're actually going to bring him in and have him talk about this week's shitty game.
Oh.
So, let's just get him on the line. And,
Hello?
Oh,
Am I
Adam,
on
it's
the
you!
Oh.
Adam, I thought you were bringing
Adam.
in someone.
Yeah,
I know, that
it's-
was the reason that we just brought him on all those months ago. It was just leading up to this moment.
Yeah,
So
just
you could talk about his game.
You bet. I don't. Do I count as a developer? I mean, I was.
You were affiliated with the company.
Yeah.
What did you do
No,
exactly? Give us some backstory.
For legal
Yes.
purposes, I'm not going to say I was affiliated with the company because they definitely were not paying taxes.
Oh, okay, that's not great. Off to a bad start already.
I was they called me an associate producer, but I was more of an intern. But I was also like a indentured servant. I don't know how you would say, because I was not paid a living wage whatsoever.
But let's back up. So this was at Groovy Pulse Games, right?
Can we say that on the air?
Why? They're publicly
Right.
traded.
Oh, they're publicly traded. Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, they put their name out on their app page. Also, their address on their app page.
Wait, what was the address? Please
Let's
tell
just
me.
say it was close to La Banquise.
Yep, that was it.
Oh, nice.
Man, that's a whole story in itself.
But yes,
But-
the game that we're talking about this week, because we've been beating around the bush for almost 3 minutes now, is called Groovy Hero Dash
Yes.
Rhythm Game.
Groovy
Yes.
Version
Hero
2.3
Dash
For
Rhythm
mobile.
for mobile.
Game. For mobile, it was the perfect mixture between a Bratz dress-up doll game and Guitar Hero, so it couldn't fail. It couldn't fail whatsoever. But you know what? I feel like I need to give you a little bit more context of how I got into this.
All right,
So-
go ahead.
Joey, if you can do some pensive, groovy music, that'd be great. Okay, little less frolicking.
Sorry, okay.
Less, okay, yeah. But all right, there's a slight frolic, but I'll go with it. Zach, why did we hire him?
Because of his sparkling personality, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
It does glitter. You do have a point. Oh, yeah. Deep within the softer, subtler years of my spicy Montreal youth, I gained employment in a phone scam company. After one such fortnight of being tasked with selling credit card processors to unsuspecting rural Midwesterners, my life felt as it drifted towards a void. But hark! One tremendous day, I got the courage to swagger into work. I sat ferociously at my desk and was promptly fired for asking my manager if this was a phone scam. Turns out, it was a total legal gray area due to a loophole in the 1991 Telephone Consumer Protection Act subsection 301B regarding Canadian American extradition statutes. So I took my paycheck and I said, screw this. I'm going to do what I love and work in the wonderful world of video games. And this is when the pensive music stops. Thank you, Joey.
Wow, that was like our own, it's not internet backstory, but Adam
Well, I mean, it's
net backstory.
That was real life backstory.
Yeah. Real
There's
life
still more to
backstory. Oh, there's more?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I gleefully glided my way across Curly Road Craigslist ads. Never too sure if it was an interview for a video game internship or perhaps
So
a
we didn't say rock
chance
opera this week.
for me to get murdered.
I don't think... No one said yes when you suggested this, Adam.
Wait, no,
Nobody said yes.
no one said yes to my rock opera? God
No.
damn it.
Your rock opera about Groovy Hero - rhythm game, as I will call it, because that is the name on the store.
Well,
That was
fine,
good,
then.
though. I thoroughly enjoyed that whole sequence. Thank you for that.
I did too. So, anyways, yeah, I was on Craigslist and looking for games, and that's when they invited me to this loft that may or may not be near La Banquise in Montreal. And I go into the room, and it's got two Frenchmen, really. One is like the head of the group. He's got gray hair. He's got like a goatee. He's like kind of like fat, but he's still trying to keep it young because he's got like an earring. Then he's all like, "I'm still cool, bro." And he told me that his claim to fame and why this video game is going to make it is that he worked on the greatest Disney video game ever conceived. Do you know what that is?
The greatest Disney video game ever conceived.
Do you know what
Kingdom
that is,
Hearts?
Zach? Nope. Nope.
I mean, I'm trying to think in context of like I'm a shitty developer. And I think I did a good job.
1987's Mickey Mouse Capade. You know, the one that we all know and cherish.
What?
Yes, exactly.
On what? The Atari?
SNES? I don't know what the... I have
87
no
would be
idea.
like...
SNES didn't come out till the 90s.
Oh, so this...
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't
This
know.
might be NES, if anything.
Probably
Yeah,
NES.
I think it was an NES, yeah. And, you know, I instantly knew that this man's 80s prowess was going to create a 2012 smash mobile phone hit. And I thought it was going to be greater than any Candy Crush ever. And, you know.
Hold on, this started development in 2012?
Yeah, I think it was 2012.
Okay, because it was published at year end in 2014.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took that long to make this?
Say it's 2012? Because I wasn't...
It took almost 3 years?
Yeah.
Zach, it took
To
you.
make
It
this?
took you like half the time by yourself to make a video game on your phone.
Well, this...
I made my own game in like 6 months. That was better than this. Sorry, go on.
No, I enjoyed that, actually. I didn't realize how absurd that actually was. That it took a while to create this. I mean, yeah. Anyway, so we have this old guy who's a 1980s video game mastermind, and the next was a young Frenchman who, if you can imagine the most stereotypical French accent that an American could do, he had that. It was awful. And he was considered their magical marketing director. And he held the ultimate sauce to thrust this game into popularity. And do you know what his university degree was in?
Home ec?
Fashion accessories.
Ooh.
Oh, I was kind of close.
Not even fashion, just fashion accessories.
Fashion accessories. He was a fashion accessory genius from France. And the two of them, they sat me down. They were like, okay, you know, this game is amazing. Here's a non-disclosure agreement in case, you know, you reveal
They
anything.
made you sign an NDA for this garbage.
It was like for this
Wow.
like interview.
Genuinely confused.
And I'm still just like, okay, all right, well, this sounds good. Like, what is it? They're like, well, it's a game that's like Guitar Hero, and it uses music from your phone to make the game. And I was like,
I like how they made you sign
Wow.
an NDA on a concept for a game that has been going on. That was going on since like 2006.
that was based off of a bunch of other video games. And
Yes.
And I'm sitting there like, okay, I mean, that's new. All right, so I guess I'm going to take whatever's on my phone and play it. Yeah, that sounds great. And they said, there's a twist, though. I said, okay, what? Like, I'm leaning in. It's half a dress-up doll game. And I went,
What? Is that when they dropped the mic? And they were like, that's the moment that we got him.
and the two just began to high-five incessantly and incestuously. And
All right, let's not exaggerate. It was probably more consensually, if anything.
No, it was consensually too, of course. But they both, they give me this lean over the table, and they said, you know what the name of the game is? I said, well, gee, sirs, what is it? The name is Groovy Hero. And that's when I said, but that doesn't make sense. In English, shouldn't it be Groove Hero? Like you're the hero of the groove, not right. Just a groovy hero? No, it's Groovy Hero. Right, but doesn't it need to be hero of the groove? No, Groovy Hero. I said, okay.
Look, they have a brand to stick to. They're called Groovy Pulse games, not Groove Pulse games.
I think that was
a brand, Adam.
Well, geez, Adam, we already got the website for Groovy Pulse games. Okay.
By the way, there is a link to a website on their storefront here, and it redirects to groovypulse.com. And whoops, it looks like this domain isn't connected to a website.
Oh my. Well, that's...
Oh no,
surprise,
their
surprise.
Wix.com site is offline.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it looks like they didn't want to keep paying for that domain.
I guess not.
But you know what they said to me? They said, Adam, we're going to pay you $500. And I said, a week? And they said, even better, a month.
God, this place sucks.
And I forgot. I was like, what was I, like 22 or something? And I was like, well, I guess. And they're like, don't worry, friend. Your parents will still help you out. And I was like, that's kind of irresponsible. But I guess, like, I'm doing my dream job. Yeah, sure. So I took the job, and I came in, and they give you, like, the video game, like, the beta to start, like, kind of, like, messing with it. And, you gotta get, like, really into it. And they decided it was going to be this associate producer. Didn't really tell me what that was, but I had to know the video game. I was like, okay. And I started playing, like, Nirvana's, like, Teen Spirit on it. And there was, like, this dress-up doll that begins to move. And at first I was like, oh, no way, it's going to move to the music. But it doesn't move at all to the music whatsoever. It just dances whatever tempo it's going to dance at anyways. And then if you can imagine the markers that you're supposed to hit, the notes when it comes down, they're supposed to be on beat, right? Like on Guitar Hero, these were never on beat, like whatsoever.
So what's the point of it?
One would hope that they are on tempo.
And I remember like going up to them and I was like, I mean, the game kind of looks all right. Like it's on a phone, but it doesn't really like work. And the two of them just kind of looked at me and said, Adam, let's just talk over here for a second. Because it was like a room full of a few other people. And they said, look, we're going to need you to be a team player. You're going to have to like rep this game to the world because we're going to have to be big. We got to be bigger than Candy Crush, I was like, yeah,
That's a bold statement based on what I'm seeing here.
And you're just gonna have to make it work. Like it definitely works. Maybe you're not looking at it hard enough. And I was like, but I have a degree in music. It just doesn't do it. And I said, okay, all right. Well, we got a grant from the Canadian government that says it's going to have to work. We got artist grant.
Oh, there's the rub.
And I was like, oh, but aren't they going to check up on the game to make sure that it's like you guys are actually using it to create something that works or anything like that? No, because it's Canada. And they're just going to let you do whatever you want. But they said, if you don't believe in the game, you should go. And I was like, well, I'm 22. I want to be a team player. And little did I know that was strike one.
giving one piece of criticism.
They weren't too friendly to me really after that, and so I spent like several months. And you know what? The first task they gave me was our monumental rollout in New Zealand. And
Wait, hold on. Before you go talking about this rollout, I want to touch on your point about it not being on point, like the music being off.
Right. Please
in terms
do.
of when you hit the buttons.
Please do.
Because so I'm looking at this. Okay, so it's off. It's on an app store, but I can't download it. You know, for reasons.
Oh, that's a
but
shame.
we were able to find a 23-minute sneak preview on it on YouTube. So I'm gonna just base it off of this. They have one song that I assume they either lifted off of royaltyfreemusic.com or got an intern to make that is just so fucking heavy on harmonica. It's hilarious. I don't know where. But
Well,
in this one song
Yeah.
that they, I assume, made, because the rest of the 23 minutes is completely silent. Every other
Wait, what?
every other song is silent.
Wow.
It shows the thing moving.
I didn't make it
and
that
there
far.
are dancing happening, but 4 out of the 5 songs that are shown in this
wow.
23-minute long sneak preview have no music. So for the one song that they made, presumably to work with this game, it still doesn't fit the tempo of the button press. And they made the song specifically for the game.
yeah.
Like, if you can't get your own fake music, well, not fake music, but if you make custom music and you still can't match it up, what chance do you have for other music that's not your own?
I don't get it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's all silent, because they're
They-
just like, no, we can't let them know how off-tempo everything is.
Well, there's a worse part to that. So yes, they hired a company, which I won't say the name of it, but the guys who did it, I like them. They were totally separate. They're very nice guys. But Groovy Hero had the chance to hard code it, so that the dots at least worked on the default music. And I think they did try to hard code it. And I think I did talk to them that it still didn't work, but nobody wanted to listen to me.
Oh, my God.
Of course.
Yeah, because, you criticized them once, so how dare you?
Yeah.
And they had another guy who was also nice. He did some of the video game sounds or something like that, and he was like very musically inclined. And I think he also said something about it, but it just got completely ignored. So there was they did
Genuinely
not.
so confused about all of this.
Well, a 1987 Disney video game genius and a marketing extraordinaire with a fashion accessory degree did not want to listen to anybody. It's good.
Can I just read the description from the marketing extraordinaire department, I assume,
Sure.
on the App Store here?
Let's hear
Let's
it.
hear it.
Okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying apparently nobody over there likes to put spaces after the end of sentences, so I'm going to read it as they intended me to. So, here we go. Tap to the beat of your own music, techno, pop, rock, indie, reggae, hip-hop, ... Anything goes with Groovy Hero. Challenge your friends and thousands of players online. The top of the leaderboard is yours. It's time to groove. 5 out of 5. Absolutely enjoy playing this game better than Tap games. 5 out of 5. Love being able to use my own music from my playlist. Thank you for a feel-good game. Features. Works with any MP3 from your own library. Get your name to the top of the leaderboard. 4 difficulty modes. Novice and experts are all welcomed. New content and features coming soon. How do we interpret your music? We created an awesome tool that's called Pulse Engine.
Pulse Engine.
Developed with input from composers, percussionists, and audio designers, the Pulse Engine interprets your music to provide you with a fun on-the-beat game. Stay tuned.
Wait a minute.
Oh my
wait
God.
a minute.
I'm like gonna have a stroke reading this.
Guess who the input from the percussionist was?
Oh my God.
Input that they ignored.
Input that was wonderfully ignored. But it's okay. They got grant money from the government of Canada.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, apparently they did update it with improved rhythm detection and more free power-ups every day.
Oh, yes.
That is the one update that is on here.
Right.
This sounds almost criminal.
It's well.
Are you sure they weren't just like stealing money from the government of Canada?
I don't.
Kind of sounds like they were.
I don't want to accuse anybody of that, but it was definitely. It's not around anymore, and I don't think they had to pay that money back. They technically did make a video game with it. Just.
So they just took a bunch of our money. Fuck them. To make this garbage?
Yeah, that's what really got me, because I was like, so this is grant money for artists, and in the Montreal like game community, they like there are some great Montreal like indie studios out there. There's some really cool ones, and sometimes they rely on this money to, there's only 2 of them, and they get this money to do this. What happened with this one is that they took the same amount that 2 people would use to live probably like for a year, making this like video game straight, or like 6 months even. And this greasy dude, he rented a loft in Saint Laurent, which was like a nice big loft with like a bunk bed. And he just had like 15 people working for next to nothing doing this game. And what I can only imagine is what I was paid. Some of them could have been paid less or a little bit more. I think they paid the actual guy doing the programming a good amount. He was a cool dude. He ended up going to Ubisoft, and he's like super talented. But yeah, they got away with some things that should definitely not be okay, especially paying people under minimum wage when you have money. So that wasn't really cool that they did this. And there was, I think that was one of my second strikes, honestly. Honestly. So with this, so they back to New Zealand, they gave me this this rollout to do in New Zealand, and I thought, wow, this is a great place to focus on for a popular video game rollout. We're going to launch in New Zealand, and it's going to take over the world. We're going to get a lot of feedback in a country that we're nowhere near. So I did all sorts of crazy things. They had me creating fake Facebook pages for fans of pop music. So I would create something that was like a Rihanna Facebook page, like a fan page for her, in hopes of collecting all of her fans and galvanizing them towards Groovy Hero. Brilliant strategy, especially for somebody that doesn't know anything about Rihanna. But they had me doing this for like 50 or so different Facebook pages of like pop artists, Bruno Mars, Miley Cyrus, and all of that. And they had me going on the like the Reddit pages for like where New Zealanders were or whatever, and try to get them to play this game. And outflowed the negative comments.
But what? I see so many great positive comments on this page.
And I would.
Do we have examples?
Yes, please.
We do. We have 3 examples here.
Oh, great.
And I think this is just a function of this website, but it spaces it so far that like I'm gonna put a clap in between every word.
Ooh,
because it feels like it should be there.
This sounds fun. Maybe even more fun than the game.
Here we go. First review. Pretty awesome and awesome game. Love it. Long time. Second game. Loving it. It's great game. And final review. Best rhythm game I seen so far. Ooh, although there is some lag, but can be tolerated.
But it can be tolerated, Zach.
Wow.
It can be tolerated.
I disagree.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
this should not be tolerated.
No,
Well-
don't tolerate this mediocrity.
Yeah.
Well-
Especially when they have some form of budget.
Yes,
I was just thinking back on us, and I'm like, wait a minute, we have zero budget, so please forgive us for all of our garbage.
including this.
At least it's from the good of our hearts.
Yeah, we don't charge anything to do this, and we're not exploiting free labor.
Yeah, this definitely was exploiting free labor. Sadly about it. I feel like I started off with the phone scam example because I think I was more valued at the phone scam company than I was at this company. Because at least they had to pay me minimum wage legally. Legally.
God.
And they reminded me every day that if legally they didn't have to, they wouldn't. But Groovy did not do that. They just gave me the promise of being a part of a next Candy Crush.
Oh, sorry, one more thing, Adam.
Sure.
Remember that update I mentioned about improved rhythm detection?
Oh, yeah. How did it work?
Okay, so you remember how I said it was released at the end of the year in 2014?
Yeah.
You know when this update rolled through?
What?
February 4th, 2018.
What? No.
It says last updated February 4th, 2018.
But who's still working on it?
I don't even know.
Did you know they went on for those of you in the States, you know it as Shark Tank, but in Canada, you guys know it as Dragon's Den.
Were we supposed to
Yeah.
clap?
Yeah. They in 2014, after me, they went on Dragon's Den, and I believe received some more startup money
Oh my God.
for this amazing game that completely failed and updated in 2018.
Well,
Did they show the sharks what it looked like?
yeah.
I think they did. It should be.
I
on
mean, it
YouTube.
looks fine.
whatever.
It looks fine, and it's like a good idea if it works.
Zach, I think Joey's going to pitch for it. We better outbid him.
I mean, I definitely want a piece of this action.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take 70%. Anywho. So after this, we were rolling out this New Zealand thing. Those two masterminds, the head honcho and the magical marketing director, they said, "Hey, Adam, how come we only have 100 Facebook fans on our page?" And I said, "Well,
I wonder why."
according to Reddit, people don't like it because it doesn't really work." Blasphemy! They wailed. It works because we say it works. It's genius. How could it not? It's the two most popular games in the world. Guitar Hero and the Bratz Dress-Up Doll game. So therefore, combining the two, we've made a mega masterpiece. It's like, okay, well, I mean, I guess that could do some profit. And they said, yeah, first we're going to get them to download the game for free. This is a new strategy, I thought. And then we'll get them to pay for things. We'll call it freemium. Wow, this is very original. Totally
Hold
mind-
on.
Hold on.
They were charging for this up front?
No. It was free to download, but there were
Okay.
certain items.
If you wanted it to work, maybe.
Right.
I wanted the game to work.
So do you see the doll that dances around?
That lifeless husk? Yeah.
The lifeless husk. She came with clothes that you could buy. You could buy special
course.
outfits for different holidays, for, who knows? Who, honestly? You could buy different dance moves for your doll that wouldn't dance with your music or add anything to your score. Genius. Why wouldn't you open your
so
wallet?
much more knowing that there's microtransactions in it.
And it was... They also charged for power-ups. That was a big deal, right? So after each game, there's like a treasure box that opens, and for your score, you get some coins or you get power-ups, right? Or I think you get coins to exchange for power-ups. And the power-ups would give you super double scores or do something that honestly made no sense in the world of music. Just made no sense of how it would work. But the thought behind it, as different studies that I believe they paid for that came out of certain universities that did experiments on addiction, they would do things where, you know how like these freemium games work, where you have a transaction where you get coins in a game, and those coins get you a reward that you want, right? So if you want to make money, you have to get the player to buy the coins to buy the thing, because it removes that extra block. Like you're no longer... It's kind of like what casinos sometimes do when they give you casino coins, because they're fake coins to you, but you paid real money for them. So they do that to you to get you more addicted and more investing in the game. And they'll make it harder for you to get those coins so that you finally just give up and start purchasing the coins, $5 here, $10 here, or whatever. But the goal of these freemium games is not for people to... not for a large amount of people to really like be purchasing it. They want a lot of people to play it, but they want what they call cash cows. So they're hoping that some very bored millionaire in whatever country loves the game and starts giving them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They just need one.
They just need one cash cow to make it work. And that's what this entire thing was built off of. It's a great concept. I think any company should be doing that, honestly. And yeah, that's what this was. And that was my issue with the Facebook fans. And I think I did ask for more money at that point that I couldn't live. And that was strike 2, funnily enough. Would you like to know what strike 3 was? Are there any questions?
I don't know. Do we?
I don't think we do, but at this point, we're so far in.
Well,
I guess we have to know.
I guess we have to.
I guess you do. So the third strike began one cold March morning as I left my apartment and sauntered in and sat at my desk. Things
Last
felt...
time we let you do this.
What? What was that?
Nothing. Go on.
Things felt slightly off. As I walked into the loft, the 65-year-old mistress that the head of the head mastermind bro, she lounged on the top bunk of the loft. And, yeah, her and that old dude with the goatee were probably bumping it all night long in that bunk bed. Classy. Very classy. And so I sat at my desk and I saw that we had grown to 500 Facebook likes because I had petitioned all of my friends and family, probably including you, Zach, to come to the rescue and like the company's Facebook page because I was afraid I would lose my stupid internship. I know. And so the morning meeting was called, and the two geniuses at the studio said, "Hey, Adam, how many likes do we have?" I said, 500. And I said, "Yeah, it's up from 100. They said, "That's not enough. How are we going to beat Candy Crush with only 500 likes?" And I said, "Well, maybe instead of paying your employees really low wages, you guys could pay us something more to live on that would make it a little less stressful and I could concentrate on work. Or maybe..."
And let me guess, they didn't appreciate that.
I was not really happy when this happened. Maybe instead of, ripping off the artist fund that is set aside for talented artists, you could have done this in your own house instead of using the rent money for a party loft. And just maybe your outdated 1980s idea of combining two game genres that have nothing to do with each other doesn't work, and you should focus on making a good game that works instead of blaming a recent graduate for lack of Facebook likes. And they said, "Adam, come to the cafe next door." And I was like, "Fine." And I went to go pack up my belongings. And they said, "No, Adam, don't bring your things. Come to the cafe first." And I was like, "All right." And I walked over, and they were like, that's strike 3. We thought you were a team player, but you obviously don't believe in what we're doing here. And the two looked at each other, and the older guy looks at the younger guy, and he goes, the younger guy goes, "You're fired, and we won't give you your last check." And I said,
What?
"Yep." And I said, it's illegal to pay employees in Canada below the minimum wage, right? I'm going to go to the police if I don't get this check. And they got me my last check, and they actually gave me some extra money for another month.
Oh, wow.
Please don't go to the police.
And I went.
All you had to do was threaten to go to the police.
And I went to the the loft to get my stuff, and I turned to the other employees and I said, "Guys, I'm pretty sure this is a scam." The end.
Well, that was quite the saga, I gotta say.
Yeah.
And all of this for a shitty knockoff of a game that was outdated by the time this came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about
as if it wasn't obvious enough already, this game has more problems than just being technically and graphically and gameplayically wise just terrible.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Quite the story of the development.
Right. This was like a documentary.
Well, it was quite a time in my life, because you're sitting there as like a young guy. You don't know what you're doing. You're out of school. You get this like seemingly kind of dream thing that you tell your friends you're at a video game company, and everybody's like, "Oh, wow, that's so cool," and you're in a startup. But then there's things where they don't pay you money. And and then you realize kind of it's a scam, that they're just there collecting money that should go to artists that actually deserve it. And
the lesson here is to trust in your own self-worth and don't get taken advantage of by con people.
No.
Yeah, man.
The lesson is don't look for video game jobs on Craigslist.
Well, that too.
Look for misconnections on Craigslist. Speaking of...
No, we're already running so long.
I've heard enough of your voice, Adam.
I've heard enough of you talking for one lifetime.
I'm sure the audience has, but this has been cathartic, if you will.
Yeah, this is.
Thank you for.
I'm glad you got it off your chest and onto ours.
Like you've gotten like 10, 20 pounds off your chest, and now you can breathe a little easier knowing that Groovy Hero Rhythm Game version 2.3 is dead and buried.
But didn't they make another game though?
They better not have, because I don't want to look at this garbage anymore. So thank you guys again for listening. We really appreciate it. We're going to be doing another shitty game next week. We're keeping it a surprise because, I don't know.
You're not even telling me what it is.
Want to? But what I want to do before we fade to black, so to speak, is play the one song that is on their gameplay trailer.
Ooh!
Good call.
Let's do it.
So we'll fade out to that beautiful music. Thank you guys again so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Peace.
Out. Peace.